Steven, I think they're ready for us. You ready?
Nope.
Well, we're going to have to get started because the way it looks, some trades are already getting started and they're fast and
Mhm.
furious. But before we get into that, of course, we're going to start with LeBron James because that's kind of like the big story that happened yesterday. One, I will go on record and saying I thought it was going to happen, honestly, tomorrow. I said it numerous times and it happened yesterday. One, did you stay up to see it happen? Two, what are your thoughts on everything?
Obviously, I stay up to watch it happen. Like there's no guarantees in life outside of death and taxes. But
Mhm.
after that first shot that he took last night, did you watch it? Like, did you watch all of it, or did you pass out?
I had sports bets on, so I said I'm not even going to watch it.
Yeah. So he hit the first shot, and it took him a hot second to get going. But like once the first shot went in, like I mean, you saw the way he came dressed. He dressed in all black. He was ready to put that shit to rest.
Hmm.
And I mean, there was a 100% chance that he was breaking the record last night. 100%. Like just with like the vibe in the arena, like as many people that were there, 36 points is not a lot of points. Like,
Mm,
and then he got a good amount of it in the first half, and then he needed 16 in the third quarter and got it. Now,
yeah.
I was pissed though that they stopped the game with 10 seconds left in the third quarter.
For that, they
Furious.
could,
I was like,
yeah.
y'all just couldn't wait 10 seconds, like 10.9 seconds. Y'all couldn't just
Hmm.
wait. So, I mean, I'm happy he did it. But he only scored 38 points. He scored 2 points in the fourth quarter. He
Yeah.
said, "Screw that, I'm out." But well, I guess are we gonna talk about it now? Or do you want to wait, or do you want to talk
No,
about
we'll
other
go
stuff
into
first?
it later
All right.
on.
Okay,
Yeah,
later
so
on.
that
All
was,
right. All right.
yeah, because that's honestly one of the biggest things that happened. I want to get all your analysis on it, but I, of course, wanted to start it off with that. The other thing I want to end up just touching on is we had major trades in the NBA that happened. Um, I guess a weird story that happened in the NFL too that we'll end up bringing up that happened today. Playmaker himself, but going into like the spaces stuff. So I have a locked and loaded lineup that I'm going to end up sharing with you all. I have one that I'm doing on Friday. And then I have a big one that's going to happen on Monday. And then probably for the next 2 to 3 weeks, we're going to have different people in the spaces. So I'm looking forward to that, just continuing it because I have 2 more months and then it would have been a year straight of me doing spaces on Mondays. So that's another big thing. The other part I want to end up just saying is I think I'm on my ends with when it comes to sports bets because when you bet shit, it legit, and this is going to go into financing and crypto and stuff like that. But when you bet, it's almost like, oh, Christian bet. All right, we're going the other way because there. And I told everyone on Twitter that I was going to do this, and I'll only make it 2 seconds. Manchester United played today. They played Leeds United, and they were supposed to win. And I probably had like 3 or 4 bets on the game, like, oh, Man U's definitely going to win. They were down 2-0, sorry, 2-0 at one point. And I was like, how in the hell is this possible when you are the third best team in the Premier League against the ninth best team?
Mm-hmm.
And then they came back and scored 2 goals, so they tied it. And that's how the game ended. But I was like, of course, that's how it's going to go. There was another game, and then we'll get into my big things in finance because there were some things there. It was 2-0 with probably 10 minutes left in the game. How the hell did this game end 2-2, go into overtime? It was 4-4. So then it had to go into like penalty kicks and stuff like that. And the other team won 5-3. Like the most random things will happen in uh any sport whenever you do bets on it. But I said all that because I want to go into random things that have been coming up recently. And I know a lot of people have heard about a company called Chat GPT. And that's kind of one of the big companies that a lot of people are starting to either invest in, subscribe to, and do different things because it's, of course, going to be the future of like AI and being able to read scripts and condense things. Personally, I can honestly see these different AI softwares and companies being used for people's computer homework, different things like that. You can almost throw anything in there and it's going to be like, all right, read this book for me, and it'll summarize it. So those are kind of going to be so that's really how a lot of this artificial
Bro,
intelligence is going to
that's
go.
oh god.
Yeah, so a lot of people have used it. You can talk to it as well, and it'll give you a lot of different answers. So it's basically Alexa, and the other one on
Don't say that too
steroids.
loud.
Yeah, because they be reacting. I remember one time I was just sitting on the couch just talking and looking at the game, and then she wants
Steroids may cause agitation and restlessness.
Hey, bro. I mean, what the fuck just happened? No way. Yo, dead ass. Yo, you're screwed. We
I
got
didn't
we got
even
one
say
we
it.
got one we got one for like it's like a kid's version. Well, it's not like it's like a I think it's like a turtle or something like that, but it's still a Alexa. So,
Mhm.
I gotta be careful with what I say.
Yep, you can't be saying stuff. So I was talking to someone. I said I'm probably gonna get rid of her because I can't be having this stuff around here. And then all of a sudden, this is what happens. The other thing I wanted to end up bringing up is so Bed Bath & Beyond. Everyone knows about them. They have been raising money. They're trying to raise $4 billion. Otherwise, they're kind of going to go into bankruptcy again. So it's kind of crazy that these companies that we think are great, but a lot of the time it depends on what happens in the stock market. If these companies will sink or swim at the end of the day. Other thing I wanted to bring up is so a lot of people in the NFT world have heard about like Ethereum NFTs, either Bored Ape Yacht Club or different things of that nature. Of course, I talk about DeGods over on the Solana side, but start to pay attention to Polygon NFTs because they already have partnerships with Doritos, they have partnerships with Starbucks, and then they have other different partnerships that are out there. Another thing that's been big and brewing is Amazon Web Services has partnered with Avalanche blockchain, and they're going to help them with their networking and just going forward with various different things. So that's another big thing that's out there. And the final thing is that I'll start to end up talking to everybody about is probably like different tips and tricks that I've started to learn in terms of various different investments. So that goes into the last thing and just the stocks for this week that I'll end up talking to you all about. We'll just letting you know to just put on your radar, of course, is Target. So the ticker is TGT. They have a dividend yield of 3%. And the last time this was updated, which I'm pretty sure Bill Gates and the crew over there at Microsoft updated this recently, and it's at $159. Another one just to put on your radar is 3N, so NNN, National Retail Properties. They're a REIT. Of course, I love REITs out there. They have a dividend yield of 4.72%. And then the final one is Rio. So the ticker is RIO. They're in the metals and mining industry, and their dividend yield is 9.61%. And they currently have a price of $77. And big shout out and kudos to Meta. So Facebook, just pay attention to them. I'm not saying to get in right now, but they've had a really big roller coaster. They were sitting at a price of over $300 and they went down to around $80 to $90. And now they're back up into the $100 range. So tech is starting to go back up because of the homie Jay Powell has been saying that they're slowly going to decrease the amount of what the interest rates are going to be going forward. So those are the big things that are over there. In terms of segueing this into the sports aspect of things, I have been talking to and reaching out to various different like either teams or sports agents and this different such so that we can get some of them on the show just to start understanding more about the background to sports and bringing it into that way. And now I want to go into some of the big information that's been happening. One, Jaylen Brown just exited the game. Him and Jason Tatum collided with each other. Jason Tatum's elbow hit Jaylen Brown in the face. Yeah, they were both going for a rebound. But I want to talk about some of the trades. The first one I want to bring up is the one that just happened tonight as of this recording, and that was D'Angelo Russell, Mike Conley, and Russell Westbrook. Of course, there were other names that were involved in all this, but D'Angelo Russell is going to be going to the Lakers. Mike Conley is going to the T-Wolves, and Russell Westbrook is going to the Jazz. What are your thoughts on everything that played out with the trade? Of course, Malik Beasley is also going to the Lakers.
I think it's good for the Lakers. Get Russ out of there. I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts about the Lakers. Are we gonna just put this all together with like LeBron? Are we gonna just segue this into that? Okay. So whatever helps the Lakers, like they're 25-30. They're not out of it yet. They got 27 games left, I think, in the regular season, give or take, right? Got the All-Star break coming up. So they obviously need to get their shit together. But they have if LeBron and AD are healthy, which whatever that means come the end of the season, obviously I still like their chances because it's LeBron and AD. When they're at their best, they're the two of the five best players in the league. Now, like my problem is though, Darvin Ham doesn't know what he's doing. Seems like a great dude. Seems like a overall like good coach. Like I've seen the interviews. He's a young guy. He interacts with. He played with like a lot of or played against a lot of these guys, a lot of the older guys. But like to me, how you cannot have either LeBron or AD. I texted you this. How you can't have a lineup from like start to finish. I know you have LeBron and AD on the floor together to start and go through that, but LeBron's usually the first one on the bench. How you can't have one of those two guys on the floor, like at all times, in any kind of lineup. Now you're trying out Pat Bev, Bryant and Schroeder and Russ. It's like what, what are you doing? And like Wendell Gabriel. No offense to those guys, but like they're not LeBron and AD. And Russell Westbrook is not like he's not the Russ of MVP years, right? So there's that. But like I just don't get how you can't do that. So I think this trade will help them. Russ, he was finding his groove. It's not like he was dog shit this year, but he was so just wildly inconsistent. And that's kind of how Russ is. You take him for what he's worth, right? So I think this trade helps. D'Angelo Russell is a scorer. He started his career at the Lakers, got drafted by them out of the Ohio State University. So I think, good move for him. LeBron likes him. Malik Beasley and Jared Vanderbilt, they can play good defense. They're not going to put up a ton of points or whatever, but like they're extra bodies. They got Rui Hachimura from the Wizards. So, again, whatever helps the Lakers, whatever keeps LeBron happy, whatever keeps AD happy. AD seems to be in a funk. He needs to wake his ass up and stop being so soft and get back in like playing pre-injury AD when he was an MVP candidate. So, whatever helps the Lakers get there. They still obviously 25 and 30. The West sucks. Like the bottom half of the West is terrible. So like, 25 and 30 is I think in the play-in tournament and in the East. But the West is just, it's the bottom half of the West is so bad. So they can win a couple games, but they got to win games like last night. You got to beat the teams that you should beat. You got to beat the teams you should beat. And they've blown a ton of leads this year. Like I know they haven't. If you look at how many games that AD and LeBron have played together over the last 3 seasons, whatever it was, not a lot. Like it's not as many as obviously we'd all like because of injuries and whatnot, which really sucks. I think they'd probably maybe have another ring if that was the case. But I think this trade helps. You gotta get Russ out of there. But you gotta have one of those two guys, LeBron and AD, on the floor at all times. Like gotta do it. Like you're not gonna win games because you saw it last night. Both those guys are on the bench, and the Thunder just going to run. They went on like a 15-2 run, and like the games, it wasn't over because the Lakers only lost by 3. But like, still, you got to climb back from that. And that's like, I know the NBA is a game of runs, but like, if you're just sitting your 2 best players on the bench for like a good stretch, you can't do it. But transitioning to LeBron real quick, I want to say this: it's crazy how like he could have broken the scoring record probably 5 years ago. If like, and last night was ball hog LeBron. That's the best LeBron. Like, we remember the game 6 against Boston, 45, 15, and 5. That's the stat line that he can put up. Like, back in the day, that was a stat line that he could put up every night. LeBron could easily score 40 a game if he wanted to. Because last night, he was getting to his spot every single time down the floor. There was not a person on the Thunder that could stop him. I don't care if it was Jay Williams, Drew Williams, Josh Williams, Chris Williams. I don't care what Williams it was. None of the Williams could stop him. And no one on that team could stop him. He was getting to the basket. He shot like 10 free throws in the first half. He was just cooking those dudes. And he was just like, you know what? I'm going to get my 36 and call it a night. And that's exactly what he did.
That's what he did.
He scored 2 points after that. He's like, I'm getting my 36. Fuck you guys. I'm done. So it'll be interesting to see how the Lakers go from here because it's over with. The record is done. Like they're still going to talk about it, obviously. And every new road game he goes to, they'll do a little thing. Hopefully it's like a quick thing before the game, acknowledge it, get it over with. But now everyone can clear their minds, get right. They have the All-Star break coming up, which I think is like a week or so from now, give or take. Yeah. So, it's over with. The record is LeBron's. Get everybody happy. They made their trades. Westbrook is off the team. Let's do this. I'm still Team Lakers, but I don't have a good feeling about them making the playoffs. I trust LeBron and AD, but like that's it. I don't trust anybody else. Like, so we got to see it to believe it. So happy for LeBron. Happy he did. I spent all my energy last week talking about
Mm.
how cool it is. But I will also say, and I said it last week, this is one of those things like he's the first athlete that we've seen from start to finish we've known LeBron since he was 15 years old. Feel like we know everything about LeBron, every move he makes. We know family, friends, all that kind of shit. We know where he lives, basically. We know everything about LeBron.
Yeah.
He's the first athlete that you and I have seen in our age range that have seen him come up and do what he's doing. And he'll when his career is done, the numbers he has right now will be so far past where they are now. It's like no one's gonna touch what he's doing. I'll be interested to see how long he plays, and he'll probably push the scoring record to 43,000 probably, and it'll be so far past what everyone thought Kareem was going to be unbreakable. It'll be so far past that point. So yeah, I mean it was just like last night was classic Lakers, classic Lakers. And I'm happy he got it, happy it's over with, and now we can focus on the rest of the season. So there's my 2 cents. Shout out LeBron.
They suck. Like they are bad. It's so terrible how bad they are. I woke up and I was like, all right, first off, how did they lose the game? Then second, I was like, damn, because between you and my brother, I was getting all the information on LeBron, essentially. And then I said, so you're telling me he broke the record? Y'all couldn't even win the game?
Yeah.
Like you couldn't even win the game.
Dude,
but it didn't even look like anyone cared.
Dude, it's so shitty
game.
It's so shitty when I wake up at like 3:00 in the morning, go to the bathroom, or like one of the kids comes in or whatever, and I check my phone and I see like the final score and like the Lakers lose. I'm just like looking at it half eyes. I'm like, again. And like LeBron jumps 40 and they lose, shit like that. It's just like they suck. And my boy Kumar, have you met Kumar before?
Mm-mm.
No, Kumar lives in LA. And he's 3 hours back. So when he's texting me about the game, because obviously he's watching it live and it's still early out there, I always text him in the morning, like, dude, these Lakers, these guys suck. Like, trade him, get rid of this guy. LeBron's great, AD's great. This guy sucks. Russ sucks. So yeah, it's the same conversation all the time. So something's got to happen. And I think the something was getting Russ off the team.
Yeah, the other part,
which like I love Russell Westbrook, but like it just wasn't going to work, and everyone knew it wasn't going to work. But you thought with LeBron being LeBron, it could maybe work. But he's just not the type of player that they need on the team, which sucks. So
the only thing that also Kyrie's playing tonight for everyone out there. I knew from ESPN.
Are they the late game? Oh
yeah,
no,
they're the late game.
I mean that's
at
what
10.
I mean. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but I knew he was going to play tonight before I even looked at that because one of my friends works for the Clippers, so he was able to like no,
okay, you can't just casually say that.
So he does like YouTube stuff as well, and I remember he was talking about before the season how they of course had to make them sign like all the hats and all the gear like that, and he was talking about his favorite players on the Clippers, the ones that don't really care to do this. Like he talked about Nicholas Batum, how Batum said he was just doing this for too long and he just gets annoyed having to sign all this stuff all the time. He was like, Paul George was a dope dude to end up talking to. And then he said that John Wall was cool as well. He forgot John Wall was there because John Wall isn't the same John Wall as we used to see. But yeah, long story short, he knew that Kyrie was going to play tonight. He said he was actually going to ask Kyrie what number he's going to be wearing next year on the Lakers. That's another thing. The other thing, speaking of which, Kyrie got traded, and we texted about it. But what are your thoughts on Kyrie?
I think it's good for the Mavs. I think Luka obviously needed another big time guy. They had the Porzingis thing going, and that didn't work, which is a bummer because that could have been nice. But I think this is going to be very similar to Kyrie and LeBron in Cleveland, not like on both ends of the floor because Luka doesn't really play great defense like LeBron did. So, but I think, I've said it before that Luka is the closest thing to LeBron that we have in the league right now in terms of his ability to score, pass, rebound, all that stuff. So I think this will benefit Kyrie because Kyrie doesn't have to play point guard. Luka's scoring numbers might go down a little bit, obviously, which is a part of the sacrifice, but the end result could be you have another trip to the finals or the Western Conference Finals or whatever. So I think that's the outlook for them. I think it's good for the Mavs. They didn't give up. They gave up some shooters, but like Kyrie's ability is, better than that of Spencer Dinwiddie and Finney Smith. Right? Am I wrong?
Yeah.
No. So, obviously the Nets on their end, like everyone's like, oh, what happens with KD now? You think they're gonna get rid of KD? Like, come on.
Know. Yeah,
First of all, bro, your shirt, bro. Let me just say this real quick. Your shirt's wrinkly as shit.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on with you? You take it out of the bag? You just take it out of the bag?
So last week, if y'all remember, I had on a Hollister or some other random shirt.
I called you out on that.
So
too.
This week, I was like, all right, let me bring out another shirt.
You got the bacon neck collar going on with shit, dude. Man, you are embarrassing as shit.
So next week, you don't know what I'm gonna bring out. I might actually bring out some Abercrombie or something.
No, please don't.
Who knows?
I can smell it through the video. But yes, I think it's great for the Mavs. I think, like I said, it's going to be another little bit of Kyrie and LeBron. We'll see how Kyrie reacts to this and what he does with his life in Dallas. Which is good because like Dallas is like, yes, it's a big market. Yes, the Mavs have Luka. Yes, Mark Cuban is the owner, but it's not New York. It's not Brooklyn. It's not, you're not playing with KD. You weren't playing with James Harden and Steve Nash was your coach and all that shit. So yeah, I think it's a little bit different situation. I know Dallas is a big market, but a little bit different situation. I think it's great for the Mavs though. So shout out to the Mavs.
Yeah, shout out. Other thing I wanted to end up bringing up, I'll segue this in the NFL because then we'll talk about some of the other things that we have going on.
NFL?
Yeah, so first thing in the NFL, Michael Irvin is not going to be a part of the NFL Network anymore. Apparently, he said it was a 45-second conversation with some woman. So now he's not going to be there. He was like, I don't even remember the conversation. We were drinking, and then she apparently pressed some sort of charges. It was in a hotel in Glendale, Arizona. Who knows?
Like last couple of days?
Yep. Like last night or 2 nights ago. So he's off of that. And I'm like, damn, dude, like you had a situation like this happen before and they pulled you off the networks. And then you have a situation like this happen again. So that's one thing. The other thing is Matt Ishbia is now going to be the new owner of the Phoenix Suns and the Phoenix Mercury. They approved it. Get this, 29-0. Why? Because one owner abstained from even voting. You know who that owner was? Mr. Dan Gilbert. He always up to some shit. I swear, between Dan Gilbert and Jim Irsay, you never know what's going to happen with them Midwestern owners because they'll just do some random ass shit every single time it comes to something. But I was doing the math on all of this, and of course they brought it up. So in total, the sale is going to be the Suns Mercury are going to be sold for $4 billion. Matt is going to be the majority owner, so he's going to own 57%, and that is worth $2.28 billion. And then there's a remainder of 37% that's still for sale, essentially. And that's going to be worth $1.48 billion. And then there's going to be a remainder of 6%. So there's going to be some minority stakeholder that's out there. And that's going to make up the total of $4 billion. So Matt will get a stay in a lot of things. And he's already said he's hit the ground running, trying to end up recruiting people and trying to get people there. First off, it's too goddamn hot. A lot of them players don't want to go to Phoenix. Like, yes, Phoenix has a good housing market, but you have CP3 that's there. CP3's on the end side. He doesn't really care where he is. He's just trying to win a ring. Devin Booker, if Devin really had it his way, I don't think his first destination is going to be, you know what? I want to stay in Phoenix. DeAndre Ayton don't even want to be there. So what do you guys have?
And everybody hates those two guys. No one likes Devin Booker or DeAndre Ayton. No one.
No. So that was that. The other thing I wanted to give a shout out to because I was doing research and stuff. So there's a women's basketball player named Juju Watkins. She's out there in California. On senior night, she scored 60 points. How do I know about all this? Because of course, Clutch Sports knows about everything. She's down there in like the Sierra Canyon.
I was like, does she play for Sierra Canyon?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's how they end up knowing about it. So it's one of those things that.
Are you surprised I knew that?
No, because when I said Clutch Sports and it probably clicked in your head.
I saw the highlights last week. That's why I know.
Yeah. So I'm proud because 60 points, we talk about this. 60 points in any sport is 60 points, like in any game.
Doesn't matter.
Like it doesn't really matter. Yeah, same thing when people used to hate on LaMelo Ball for when he scored like 80, 92 points and 92 in a high school game. It's 92. It doesn't.
You still got to
matter.
go out and do it.
Exactly.
That's the thing.
That's
like
the thing.
I say that for everything. You still got to go out and do those things. I don't care who you're playing against. You still got to go out and do those things and make the buckets, make the throws, hit whatever it is. You still got to go out and do it.
Yep.
It's not like you can just close your eyes and do it. I mean, maybe, but like you still got to go out and do those things. It's not that easy.
Nope. So that's kind of the big thing over there that people don't realize when it comes to scoring. Before Steven gets into his question and before we do the what you got, I of course have where they at though. So this week,
wait, are we not doing the Super Bowl predictions or what?
We're doing that after where they at though, because it's gonna come after that.
I was gonna say, geez.
No, don't worry. Although everyone knows who I'm picking.
Right, of course.
So the first time we did wide receivers, then we did quarterbacks, and now this week we have running backs. So the running backs, I have about like 7 or 8 pretty good ones, some because of controversial issues, some just are out there. The first one, we have a dear favorite of Mr. Springer's, and we have Saquon Barkley.
Giants.
Okay.
There's no way. There's no way.
No.
they're not gonna give him what he wants, but they'll give him close. But there's no way you can not keep him. I know he's been injured, but there's no way. Giants.
Next one I have is Kareem Hunt.
Ooh, can I pass? That's a tough one.
I know it's not an easy one. I don't think he stays. That's the thing.
Oh man.
Also, I feel bad for anybody that had Jaylen Brown in any of their different bets because he's out for the rest of the game with the facial contusion.
Oh, ouch. I'm gonna pass on that one. Kareem Hunt. That's a tough one. He's still a starter, I guess, but like you can get him for cheap as a quick backup. I gotta pass on that one. That's tough.
All right. Next one, Miles Sanders.
Oh, Philly.
Okay. I honestly, Miles is one of those I don't really know because they don't necessarily need to keep him because they're going to have 2 first-round picks. If they want to draft a running back again, they can. I don't know because then it goes into my next one that's in a similar category as Miles Sanders, and that's Josh Jacobs.
I think that depends on who the quarterback is for the Raiders. If it's, Joe Schmo, you probably not. But if it's Aaron Rodgers, after Aaron Rodgers comes out of his 4-day darkness period, then then he stays. I think he stays. I think they'll probably pay him the most. Also, like Sanders and Barkley, Sanders, all these guys are all still young too.
They are.
I know the shelf life of running backs is not that long, but they're still young, and so I think at least Barkley, Sanders, and Josh Jacobs, I think they stay where they're at. You can't just not keep that type of player after he led the league in rushing. You can't just not keep him.
That's the thing. Like, what are you going to do? I know you have to do something.
Like, who's going to be better? It's always one of those questions. Who's going to be better than what you have now? There's no one when healthy. There's no one really better than Saquon Barkley. With the Eagles, Miles Sanders is exactly what you need. He's a great runner, great in the pass game. He's one of the better pass blockers in the league. So, and Josh Jacobs, I mean, obviously, like I just said, he led the league in rushing last year. So, who's going to be better than what you get? Are you going to draft a player and, put him on a rookie contract and hope that he's better than what you have? Chances aren't likely.
So my other thing I want to bring up, because I talked about the Lakers sucking. There's 3 teams that I think really annoy me so much. The Lakers management, the Brooklyn Nets management, and and the Charlotte Hornets are another team. Also, LaMelo Ball has 5 fouls, and that's so goddamn annoying but I've also never watched a LaMelo Ball game until recently when I started doing sports betting, and they said he just jacks up so many shots. And I did not realize that that's how he is. So his efficiency is not that good. But so those 3 teams are, if you look at their futures, don't look at their team right now. Look at their futures. Their futures are some shit because the Lakers, I talked to everyone. They have no draft picks. The Lakers have nothing. You're having to trade 2028 and 2029 picks. That's what you're having to do now. Then the Brooklyn Nets, you also with the Lakers, you're trading back your second. You had D'Angelo Russell and you won him back. You had Kyle Kuzma and you tried to figure out a way to get him back. Why'd you let him go in the first place? And same thing with the Nets. You had KG, you had Paul Pierce, you had Joe Johnson, you had Kevin Durant, you had James Harden, you had Kyrie Irving. All these players
gone.
You have Ben Simmons. He's just going to be sucking up all the money in the world. Like, what are you going to do? Then with the Hornets, you signed Terry Rozier to a mad contract. And then you're going to have to pay LaMelo, although you shouldn't. You're going to. So what is your future?
Trash.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Trash.
So going back into where they at, though, we'll go into Zeke.
Homeless.
Leonard Fournette.
Homeless.
Joe Mixon.
Jail.
So I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, because a lot of people don't understand. So I brought up Joe Mixon because of all of this. Joe Mixon had some situations that were going on again with a woman. And some of these NFL players, they have it so easy in life. They just don't understand. Don't do anything.
So I've seen this clip, I don't know how many times. Warren Sapp, Hall of Famer, played for the Bucks, played for Tony Dungy. And he said, Tony Dungy, when you first get there, he talks about these 5 things that will get you in trouble every time. Out past midnight, driving 15 over the speed limit, guns in the car, drugs in the car, or you're with a woman you know too well or you don't know at all. And he was like, look at your boy Henry Ruggs, out past midnight, doing 156 miles an hour, drunk, guns, and a girl. And
I don't like to ever blame it on certain things, but
you hit those 5 things and that's gonna kill you. And same thing with, I know Joe Mixon, I don't know what the situation was, but probably out past midnight, probably I would assume drinking was involved. Most of these 9 times out of 10, these situations involved drinking. And I don't know who the woman was, but he either knows her too well or doesn't know her at all. So
yeah.
You're hitting
Apparently
those
it was
things,
at
man.
some corner, and he said, "I ought to shoot you" or something like that.
Yeah, don't say that. Don't fucking say that. Don't say that to anybody. Don't say that to anybody. Don't say that to your boys. Don't say that to on the video game. Don't say that to anybody. Don't a woman, male. I don't care. Don't say it to anybody. Just don't fucking say that, dude. Come on, man. Don't say that, bro. You give me $10 million for the year, you won't hear my name for shit.
Oh, absolutely not.
Hear my name ever, dude. Ever.
I'm never. You don't hear nothing about Kawhi. You hear nothing about him. The most we know about him is his laugh.
Yeah,
that's all you're gonna know. You're not gonna know anything, and that's what makes no sense. All the ones that have the dumb max contracts, you don't hear that much. Have you ever heard from Mike Conley? And he was the first one to get these stupid max contracts.
John Morant, bro.
John Morant.
I get it. Those are your boys, right? I get it. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter if you're in this situation or not. It doesn't even matter if you're in the car with them. You are by associating yourself with X people, it's gonna come up. I know that those are your boys, but sometimes you gotta separate that from what you're doing, because there's millions of people. There's millions of we'll stick with this. There's millions of males across America that I would kill to make $20 million a year playing basketball. Sign me up. If you told me tomorrow you're gonna be in the league making $20 million, sign me up, dude.
I ain't doing shit.
I'll get rid of both my kids, get rid of my wife, my house. Sign me the fuck up, dude. And I'll separate myself from all the people who have ever distracted me. Not that I have, I can't name anybody who's ever distracted me, but no, you get it.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. You're putting yourself in the situation by continuously associating with the people who used to not associate with. It happens all the time, dude. It's I don't get it. What do you what's the point? You know it's going to bite you in the ass. It always does. Always does.
When has it not? Like, that's
Yeah,
the
dude, it
big thing.
happens all the time, dude. It
All the
always bites you in
time.
the ass. So frustrating.
Like, I even think about the player for the Eagles, and this is how we'll segue this into the Super Bowl picks. The player for the Eagles, this happened before, but you knew you were going to be an NFL player. There, no matter if you're the practice squad player
Who, that
or
lineman?
the main player. Yeah, the lineman.
Yeah.
There was no reason for you to ever put yourself. Why?
Nope.
Like, why do you all choose the women that maybe don't want you? You know how many women are just going to want you as soon as you say you play in the NFL? I listen to it all the time when Pat McAfee talks about, yeah, it's better to say you're an emergency quarterback than being the Pro Bowl punter. Say anything, and they'll be like, oh, shit. It doesn't. You will have a line.
All the time, dude. It's all the time. It's just like, and I get like, and I'm not saying deadbolt yourself in your house and never leave your house, but like, I mean, like, it's simple to say, like, you gotta be smart, but like these guys just don't, they just don't know what that means half the time.
No.
It's frustrating.
No. So with that being said, we'll go into our picks.
Yeah.
The Eagles and the Chiefs play on Sunday. It
Nice.
is Andy Reid facing his old team, the team that kind of helped him springboard into this Andy Reid that we know today. What are your thoughts? Picks, X factors, picks.
X factor is going to be Mahomes' ankle and Jalen Hurts' shoulder, because Jalen Hurts hasn't really thrown the ball well since he got hurt. And Patrick Mahomes, although he played well last week, you never know how that's going to flare up. He could one false plant move and he's screwed for the rest of the game. And Chad Henne's got to come in and be a Super Bowl winning quarterback. But we don't want that. Jalen Hurts, he's gonna they're gonna try and stop the run. The Chiefs defense isn't the greatest thing in the world. I think the biggest X factor, I think, in the entire game, both teams, offense, defense, special teams, Chris Jones for the Chiefs.
Yeah. He's going to be going up against Lane, isn't he?
He's going to be all over the place, probably. You'll probably put him on the end, probably put him in the middle, on the other side. Doesn't matter. He's going to have to be the one that disrupts. He's going to have a Super Bowl MVP caliber game by, a couple sacks, tackles for loss, all those things, batted passes. I think he had 18 and a half sacks during this regular season, 15 or 18 and a half, one of the two. So I think he's going to be a massive X factor. Obviously, Kelsey and Mahomes are going to probably do their thing. And I think Miles Sanders also.
15
he hasn't I feel like people were waiting for Sanders to have that game.
Yeah.
He's had some good games. He's had over 100 yards. He had an awesome season, obviously. But you're still waiting for him to have that game. And trust me, I've been waiting for him to have that game for a long time. So he's gonna have to have a MVP caliber game. But Hurts' shoulder and Mahomes' ankle, I think, obviously are going to be the two biggest question marks. And then Mahomes, 3 Super Bowls, only got one. Conversation changes if he wins this one. He's two for 3 or 1 for 3. And then Jalen Hurts on the other side, all right, now everyone shut the fuck up. I just won the Super Bowl. So you guys, no more conversation about me not being a good quarterback, which we talked about last week. I don't know who the fuck was watching what in college for Jalen Hurts, but regardless, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. I think it'll end up being, I know defense wins championships, but I think it'll be, an offensive type of thing. So I'm gonna say Chiefs 33, Eagles 26. The Chiefs get a touchdown with 2 minutes left in the game, and the Eagles cannot complete the comeback. And Mahomes wins MVP again. So there we go.
So
when I say 30, 33, no. 30, no, changing it. 34-27.
Okay. So the fans will love to see a high scoring game. That's a big one.
Yes.
I am going to go the Chiefs. And obviously. I am going to
obviously.
And I am going to go 24-16.
That's fair. All right.
I am predicting that it'll be more so. It's going to be Patrick Mahomes out the gate, everyone's going to be hyped saying, oh, Mahomes and Travis Kelce already having a great connection. But I really think a lot of people need to pay attention to Isaiah Pacheco. I really think that a running back is going to play an important part in this because, and I've told this to everyone, I wanted the Eagles to have this matchup because if it was the Bengals, oh, they would get washed out the water. I can promise you. They don't have enough cornerbacks to stay with Higgins, Boyd, and Chase. Hell no. Then you got to find someone to just play on Hurst, and then you have Joe Mixon and Samaje Perine. No. All you need to do now is if you can lock up Travis Kelce, okay, then figure out which receiver you want. MVS or Juju, whoever's out there, someone's going to get it. But you just don't want it to be Kelce. If Kelce beats you, I can promise you.
You're done.
Huh? Yeah, you're done. You will have no chance. It'll be Mahomes with the MVP, with some argument being Kelce being the MVP. But if you can lock down Kelce, okay, make it be somebody else. Hell, make Pacheco go for over 100 rushing yards or like a combo of 100 all-purpose yards. But just don't let it be Kelce. But I'm going with the Chiefs because I just feel as though Andy Reid's going to want to get his revenge against his team. The owner's still there. The general manager's still there since he was there. So I can really see the Chiefs pulling this one out. I don't really care who wins, believe it or not, because I'm going to have tickets for the Chiefs. So it'll just help my pockets next year. And if the Eagles win, I will be fine too. But I'm with the Chiefs.
I'm not going to respond to that.
And I'll pass it over to you.
All right. Is it my
question? Yeah.
Yeah. So, so two reasons behind this question. Like one, my supervisor, like in our team meetings, we, I've been getting like into like deeper conversation, just like about, a lot of us have kids, and my one colleague is having his first kid. So, we're all kind of all over the place and all have been around long enough and experienced different things. So, deeper thoughts. And the question was posed, if you can go back to one age and do it again, or 1 year of your life, like what would it be and why? Not like, and you can go back because if you want to change something about it, like, like for example, I asked my wife this question. She said she'd go back to college, any year in college. She graduated college in 3.5 years. Like she's the brains of the operation with us. Mm-hmm. So she would go back to college. She was, always in the books. She'd go out, but like didn't really like enjoy it because she wanted to get back and study. So, which is the opposite of me. So she was like, I would go back to college and like, have fun and like do college the right way. So which I get. I said I'd go back to 16, 17 years old.
Really?
End of my junior year, going into my senior year of high school. Like that was the last time. That was probably the only time where there was no fucks given in life. Things were so easy. You're what? You're a year younger than me, right? I ask you this all the time. I never know how old you are.
Yeah, a year younger.
Yeah. So same concept. So like it was the easiest thing. It was the last summer that we had heading into our senior year. Last summer with all the boys. College was already decided. No one had jobs. Like no one gave a shit about anything. And senior year of high school, obviously for a lot of people, was a complete joke because like no one, if you were tight with your teachers, if you played sports, for most high schools, you didn't have anything to worry about. Nope. And we cared about sports, parties, and girls, and like in that order, high school. Like that's it. That's all we cared about. Academics. If you were cool with your teachers right off the bat, you had nothing to worry about.
Nope.
Nothing to worry about. You had to try a little bit, like math and science. You had to like try. You can't just breathe through that. But like, if you were cool with your teacher, they let a lot of things slide. And it was almost too easy because like social media was a thing, but it was like
not the way it is now. Yeah.
Infant stages we had MySpace was the biggest thing.
Yeah.
We didn't have smartphones. We had smartphones, but they were BlackBerry, but they're not the same thing. There was no Instagram, Twitter wasn't around, no Snapchat, like nothing. It was Facebook was just born a couple years prior. So like 16, 17, dude, I would go back and do that all over again. And I wouldn't change a thing about it either. Like once football season was over, and in high school, we were the number one team in the state in football, lost in the state title game, which still bothers me. But like we were number one team in the state. We had a ton of great players. We were kings walking around. It was great. It was nothing better. So I would say 16, 17, or my junior year of college when I lived with Jay Hill. But like I had responsibilities. So like I had to go to class and, work towards a degree, and like I had a job. So like I had to give a fuck about something. Whereas in high school, Zero.
Nope.
Zero. So
Yeah.
what would you say? I asked you this question 2 days ago.
No,
Usually
and
we do things on the fly, but I gave you a couple days to think about this one.
what's crazy is so I knew what my reasoning was, but I had to think about what year would I have been able to make this decision. And I think it would have been freshman or sophomore year of college. And I say that because my major was sports management. And I've gone back and forth. I talked to so many people about this of I made a huge career change. I was in sports recreation. That's basically how Steve and I met. But now I'm in finance. And I'm like, damn, if I would have gone the finance route, half of the friends I have, I would have never known because I met them all on the recreation side. I don't really have friends on the finance side. Like they just go to work, handle their work, and go home. But I would say freshman or sophomore year of college, because if I was in a finance mindset, I would have invested earlier. I would have been in Bitcoin, and there would have been so many other things I would have known about at that age. Instead, I was over here buying every single damn pair of Jordans, and I look in my closet all the time, and I'm like, where am I going to wear these things at? Like, how often am I going to wear these Jordans? Whereas some people come to work and like, yo, you ain't bring your shoes to work. I'm not coming to work in some Jordans just because y'all can do it. Yo, like you didn't bring your Jordan 8s or your Aquas. They're never coming to work. I can promise you they're going to stay where they're at. And then now, even when I go out to different events, half the time I don't wear the Jordans. Like I'll wear.
So you go back and change things.
Yeah. So I would go back because I just know the amount of money I would have and where I would be at. Then it's the biggest toss up because I think now, all right, do I care about the money or do I care about the friendships? And I'm like, damn, my life would be so different if I did that. If there was a way for me to end up randomly like meeting half the people I met at those jobs, like randomly at bars or something, cool, I would do that. But other than that, I'm like, I really met all of my friends through work. And that's just really the way it is. Although we'll like say different things about a certain friend that we have, it's like those little things we met because of work. Like I really think about all of that. I have maybe 4 friends or so from college, but the rest are work friends that I met at like every single job. I have friends outside of this job.
Yeah. And I got it. Like when I thought about this question, I had to go back because I do everything. When I think about like life, I think about pre-Brooke and like my wife, and then post-Brooke, because those are 2 completely different lives that I lived, like completely different things. Because your boy was a degenerate growing up, and then I met Brooke, and things were obviously different. But like, college was great. I probably would have tried harder. I probably wouldn't have declared a major when I got before I got to college or like did that. I would have waited and explored things maybe, but that's kind of whatever. College is you live and learn type of thing, but high school it's like you just live and you don't learn. You just live and you don't care about much. So yeah, it's an interesting question, and I the people like some of the dads at the bus stop like I'm cool with, like I've talked to them about these types of things, and like everyone's a lot older than me, so everyone everybody has different answers. Now a lot of people said high school because of the reasons I've given, but a lot of people actually have said what you said, where it's like I'd go back to college and maybe switch majors earlier, or like I would stayed with this major and like gone into that field, because I kind of regret not doing that, because I see the people that I was with, they're doing the things that I want to do now. So there's a ton of different answers for those questions, and it's always like ends up being like a stressful part of like thinking, because you're like, damn, if I would have done this shit, I know I forgot about that in life. Now you're like, dang. So yeah, it's it's good, getting older, so you think about things like that a lot more, like deeper conversation with people, which you'd never had 5 years ago with folks. So next week I'll bring up another thought-provoking question for you.
Good. See, I like that. So with that being said, I got a thought-provoking question for you. What you got?
I'm gonna give a shout out to you because I texted you last minute, obviously. Texted you last minute last weekend to see what you were doing. Obviously, you're hanging out with the other homies. So I texted you. I knew better this week. So I texted you yesterday or the day before. I can't remember when it was. But I said, "What are you doing this weekend?" And so you said nothing. So your boy's coming my way.
I know exactly.
Your boy's coming to my neighborhood finally to see. You haven't seen my new house.
No.
And I saw you. We haven't hung out in we went to the Lakers game last year for my birthday, but like
That was
wasn't
like
really
a pass by.
the day didn't happen like it should have because of COVID and everything. But
Yeah.
we haven't hung out probably since I don't know when. Probably a Penn State game.
Yeah, I was gonna say
So
almost maybe pre your son.
COVID, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, pre-COVID.
Yeah, pre-COVID.
So yeah, I got some other guys in the neighborhood that are gonna go out. So yeah, Christian's coming to my hood
Hell yeah.
Saturday. We'll see how
Yeah.
it goes. Link up with the homies. So shout out to Christian for not ditching me this weekend.
No. Yeah, I was like, damn.
Like
It's
like other people we know.
yeah. Yo,
Now I swear to God,
story
if you pull one of those on me,
Mhm.
we're done.
Yo, I tell
not
that
doing
to
a podcast.
people so often, and I'm like,
Oh, it's a great
if you
story.
Only
It's a great story. Can I tell
Yeah,
it?
he pulled up at the house and everything.
Yeah, okay, I'll tell it real quick. So we worked with this kid. I won't mention this. I won't say his name. We'll call him Josh. So we worked with this kid Josh, right? And
Josh is dope.
it was he was. So he was. So it was like I think it was like a Saturday or whatever. So he's like, "Yo, come over to the house. You will chill, do whatever." Obviously, we all know what that means.
Mhm.
So, I hit him up. I'm like, "Yo, I'll be at your place, 11 or so." I get there, hit him up, nothing, bro. I waited outside this kid's house for an hour, and it was a 40-minute drive from my house. So like I was gonna be there for like the whole day. I think there was football on, whatever. So like I was gonna be there for like the entire day. Nothing. So I go to the door, knock on the door, nothing. And I was like, all right, I don't know. I didn't know what to think at that point.
Exactly.
Get back
What
in
do
the
you
car.
do?
I waited an hour and I drove home. Hits me up like 4 hours later. Yo, my phone died, and I'm like, no. That's not how it works, bro. Like phones die, you charge that shit right up, and like
Exactly.
you knew I was coming over. You knew I
Yes.
was coming over. Like, I jokingly say you ditched me for the homies last weekend. Like you obviously had plans already. Like this is like ditching me.
Yes.
Like that's the first time I was ever stood up before.
Hell yeah. But
Male-
the thing
male-
is,
male
he
or female?
went there. Yes,
Yeah, I went
he
to his
there.
house. I went to his
I think
house.
you said you even like asked the neighbors or something too.
Yeah, I was like, yo, is Josh? I almost said his name. I was like, is Josh home? They're like, I don't fucking know. I was like, all right, well, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? So and Josh still owes me for that one. That was 7 years ago, 6-7 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So Josh still owes me for that one. Shout out to Josh.
I talk to Josh maybe like 2 or 3 times a year, and that's about it. And
yeah, I get a couple of random Snapchats, but that's about it.
See, yep.
Shout out to Josh though.
Shout out. So my 2-1 is, of course, it's sports betting. And it's because I had LaMelo Ball, and I bet I started off with $10. I made 20. Then the next bet was going to be 15 to make 30. Everything hit. Like Jalen Ivey ended up getting 10 points. Terry Rozier ended up getting 15 points. Jared Allen did what I needed to, 10 and 6. Cool. All I needed was LaMelo Ball to have 6 assists. My man's got like 4 assists. He averages like 8 assists a game.
He ain't gonna get it.
And he didn't get it. The other person I was contemplating, I was like, let me go at Bogdanovich. Like, he's going to get 15. So I said, no, let me go at LaMelo. That's more guaranteed. Bogdanovich doesn't always play well against the Cavaliers. Bogdanovich said, I got 15. So that was the one thing. The other one is I've started diving more into like NFTs and stuff. I do so many different things, so I don't get to focus time. And I always think about, if I focus a lot of time, I would be really good at these different things. But my big shout out and my thing for today is I bought this NFT at $65. I sold it at $331. So that's my big one for today. Other than that, we hope you all enjoy the Super Bowl. We'll catch you all next time. I'll be here, happy or sad with the outcome of the Super Bowl. Hopefully Penn State wins tonight. Other than that, we out.
Peace.